Today we have two special guests that came to give evidentiary information about a prophecy that I gave to the lovely mother. And we have Danielle and Jameson here. And when I met Danielle about 1.5 years ago, I brought back some very special relatives for her through retrocognition. I believe it was your wonderful granddad and your great-aunt, his sister.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of things to say to us. And the most beautiful part for me always is to give you a prophecy and to have the prophecy indeed come true. And I did tell you would have a son, and I did hear the name James, and maybe you can explain what happened, so go right ahead.
It actually goes back a little bit further than that,
Okay.
to where you had met with my stepmother and told her that another baby would be coming, an announcement of another baby in October of 2010. And you had said my initial, D, and that the person had owned some property in Maine, which she called me right away and said, I met with Renee, and you're going to have another baby boy. And of course, I needed to make a follow-up appointment with you to get verification of this.
Right.
And sure enough, you did tell me that I was going to have a baby boy in May. And the dates didn't match up for me, but because my due date was June 7th.
Okay.
But I had to have a scheduled C-section, and it
In
brought
May.
us to May.
Right.
So
And the wonderful part was I don't think I knew that your stepmother was your stepmother.
You
So when I
didn't.
met you, it was kind of cold turkey.
Yep.
I just came in, and there was something really wonderful too. Your wonderful friend was there, and I said to your friend, you will have a daughter on February 14th, and you will follow in close pursuit with a baby boy. And did she have her baby?
She did. Her due date was actually February 14th, but she had a scheduled C-section and a little bit earlier, but she had a beautiful baby girl as well.
Okay. And the thing is, I have to ask you, were you expecting your relatives to come through? Were you hoping that they would make that connection?
Well, this had been the second time that I had met with you. I'd met with you a year previous to that, and the stuff you had told me then was, I had just watched a lot of it come to
fruition.
I keep my notes next to me all the time, and I just watched the stuff happen. So as soon as you had said I was going to have a baby boy, I said, this is it. We're going to have another baby boy. And you also, my great aunt had said that she was going to give him a kiss.
Right.
And he was born with a stork bite on his little butt.
Okay. And sometimes, too, when I give you a prophecy, you know, it doesn't come from me. I need to clarify that. It comes from the spirit realm, and I do follow Christ. I'm very upfront about that. And my feeling is that the soul of your loved ones lives on in eternal life, and they come back to us. And here is living proof of a brand new life on the earth plane that wasn't here a year ago. And it's very overwhelming, as I was explaining earlier, for me to tell you this. And then a year later, he's here. And I think I saw you right before you were about to give birth, and you opened the door, and I looked, and it was just so overwhelming to see you, and you said, it's a boy. And I had seen the in vitro picture on Facebook with the thumb in his mouth. It's such a miracle. So for the audience out there, we're here to educate, entertain, and enlighten you. And the beautiful fact of this is it's real, because look at him.
It is.
Look how beautiful he is. And I held him today, and it's like I know him. I have to say, when I meet a new child that's come to the earth plane, and he had the stork bite that the family said he would have, your grandfather and your great aunt was standing there at the gate of heaven telling me to tell you that. And has it made you happier since you made the connections?
It has, and it's been for my whole family. Just, it's nice to know that they're at peace and they're together, and
they watch over you.
And they watch over us.
So again, another beautiful prediction that has come to fruition, and I have to thank you and your wonderful son. I have to thank you for coming today and sharing your beautiful gift with everyone. And again, I tell everybody, have an open heart and an open mind, and understand that the soul is eternal. Just as your family is watching over you with light and love, everybody else's family is doing the same. And thank you. Today we have a very wonderful guest who has come to share some of the prophecies that have been predicted for her through meeting me with my gift. And this is Marilyn, and I welcome you with open arms. You've been a client, but you're my friend. You're
We're friends now, absolutely.
We've had a wonderful connection. And I'd like to ask you if you could share with our listening audience some of the prophecies that have come true since I met you about, what, 5 years ago? Just about 5?
Just about 5 years ago. My dad was still living when I met you.
Right. Okay.
My dad was still living. Well, the biggest one, obviously, is my grandson.
Yes.
His name is Tommy.
Right.
Although, to me, he's Handsome Harry.
That's
I call
right.
him Handsome Harry.
Uh-huh.
You had told me that before my daughter was even pregnant, and before she knew she was pregnant, you told me that I was going to be a grandmother. And I said,
Easter week.
Easter week, and
Right.
it was going to come Easter week, and
I
lo
know.
and behold, and he was going to have red hair. That was a big thing, red hair.
And we laughed.
We laughed, and I said, okay, we'll see. My daughter wasn't pregnant at the time, and like a week later, she found out she was pregnant, so she was already pregnant at the time when you had told me that this was going to happen to us, and I was an OB nurse for 25 years.
Okay.
So I went into the labor room with her, and when the nurse pulled down the big overhead light, when she was crowning, the nurse said, "Oh my God." And I said, "What's the matter? What's the matter?" And she pulled the light down. She goes, "Take a look." I went, "Oh my God, it's a redhead." And I kept saying all along, I didn't care what sex it was. I didn't care if it was a girl. I didn't care if it was a boy. I didn't care if it was a puppy. I wanted a redhead so badly. And he is red, 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 red.
How old is he now?
He's 2.5.
All right. And
He's
what's
2.5.
his big delight in life? What does he love?
His big delight, I think his favorite person is his Uncle Eric. My son is a firefighter in Malden. And he spends as much time at the firehouse with Uncle Eric as some of the firemen do. He lives and breathes at this young age for the
be a
fire
firefighter,
department.
right.
Yes,
You have a picture of him? He's
I
so
do.
beautiful.
I do.
And I met him last week. He's adorable. And this is Tommy. And he'll be 3 in April.
He'll be 3 in April.
Right, and-
He's got red hair, blue, blue, blue eyes.
And did I predict another baby for your daughter? Did I tell her she
You
would have
did.
another
You
child?
told me she was going to be pregnant again, and she is pregnant again. She's due in January.
Congratulations.
And thank you. We're excited. You told me it was going to be another redhead, but maybe a little different shade of red.
Right.
And it's going to be a girl. So we'll see.
And you know, I have to thank you so much for coming in and sharing, you know, this beautiful gift of this beautiful little boy. And can you share some of the other things that have happened through our connection?
Sure. The very first night I had met you, you had changed. I might get emotional. You changed my life forever that night.
Thank you. I helped you.
You did.
I know, I remember that. I think I asked you about a girl in a blue sweater.
My cousin's daughter had just passed away that day. 21 years old. She had spina bifida. She'd been in a wheelchair her whole life. Had never walked, never got to do the things that little kids do, go to dance in school, ride bikes. And I almost didn't go see you that night because it was a very emotional day for me. We were very close to Carrie. And my daughter talked me into going. She said, "You need to go. It's not right. You know, you committed to this. You got to go. Put some water on your face and you'll be fine."
Right.
And one of the first things you said to me, my mom had come through, and you said to me, "Your mom wants you to know that Carrie is with Ann." And I said to you, "What?" And you repeated it. And Ann is Carrie's grandmother, which was a sister-in-law to my mom. And she said, "But your mom specifically wants you to know that Carrie is walking with Ann."
Right.
And I said to you, "Linnea, that's impossible. Carrie has never walked her whole life." And you said your mother is insisting that you know that she is walking. And your mom said to tell you she's all in blue. When I went to the wake, Carrie was in a blue casket. She was in a blue dress. The lining of the casket were blue. Most of the flowers that people had sent were blue. And at that same time, you told me, we got talking about my dad. And you asked me about a violin, and I said, "No, nobody plays a violin. There's no violin." And then I had remembered my mom had, in her little family room, she had this antique violin that she had silk flowers in, and it was hanging on the wall.
Like a decoration.
Like a decoration.
Wow.
I don't even know where the violin came from, but it was there when I was growing up. It was there. And you said to me that my dad was elderly, and you said, "I'm not telling you he's going to die, you know, today, tomorrow, but you need to get things in order because it's going to happen. And when the music starts, your dad is going to pass away." And the music was in the hospital.
Right. You heard the music.
Yeah, the music, and I was with my dad when he passed away. A very, very, very peaceful death.
How old was your wonderful dad?
My dad was 94.
Oh, what a beautiful
He was
life.
94.
So I am going to say that there were several things prior to the beautiful gift of the baby, and you were able to make a connection with your beautiful mom. And why don't you tell them about the book? This was kind of
Oh, my
interesting.
goodness.
Yeah.
I had shoulder surgery a year ago, and I couldn't drive the car for quite a while. And I was bored, and I went out to my car, and I said, I'm just going to clean out my car. I haven't driven it for several months, but I'm going to clean it out and give it a good cleaning and have
Right.
someone take it to the car wash. And I opened the trunk, and there was this book that didn't look familiar to me. It was a hardcover book, and it said The Prophecy.
Right.
So I opened it up, and there is your name with your cell number and your home number.
Right.
So I went directly in the house, and I
Right.
called you. I said, Linnea, which you had never been in my car.
Nope, I never had.
We had met for lunch before, but you had
Right.
never seen my car, what my
Nope.
car looked like, had never been in it. And I called you and I said, Linnea, the strangest thing just happened to me. I was cleaning out my trunk, and I have a book of yours in my trunk.
Right.
Like, I have no idea how this book of yours got in
Got
my
there,
trunk.
right.
You've never been in my car. So I told you the name of the book.
The Prophet.
The Prophet is what
Cahill
Linnea
Gibran,
is.
right? Oh, thank
And
you.
I met up with Linnea, and I gave Linnea the book, and as soon as she looked at it, you had said to me, this is not my writing.
No.
Not my writing. To this day, I mean, we think it's her mom. We're sure it's her mom that
I
put it
think
in
my
my
mother
car.
somehow put that A-port in your car for you to give to me, and the fact that it was written in a different handwriting, but it was my two numbers, that was to verify that somehow that was meant for me.
And you were having a bad week that
I
week.
was,
Do you
yeah.
remember? You
I
were
do.
having a bad week, and
This helped me.
it helped you. We both said, okay, this is your mom
It's my
coming to
mom.
help you,
It
and now you have the book.
I do, and it's in storage. I have to find it because I put a lot of books in storage. But again, your beautiful son, a grandson, excuse me, and your beautiful grandchild coming in January must bring you a lot of comfort because you know it was your spirit guide on the other side giving you that love.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for sharing everything with us. And
Oh,
again,
Linnea, I love you
appreciate it. I love you
so
too.
much.
Mwah.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much.
You
And thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we have a wonderful, wonderful guest today who has something very, very special to share with us. And prior to introducing Lisa, I did want to explain a little bit about A-ports. And A-ports are something that you get from the other side, and oftentimes I might tell you, you're going to get a particular item and then it does get received, and then you know that your loved one is communicating with you on the other side. My mother had a nickname for me from early childhood on, and nobody knew it. She was the only one who called that to me. And a couple of Christmases ago, I'm missing my mother. I will always miss all of my loved ones, but particularly my mom. She hasn't been gone that long. And I said to her, it's Christmas time. Would you send me something from you? So I know that it's only for me from you. And I walked into a wonderful thrift store in Salem called the Witch City Thrift, and as I walked downstairs, this picture was hanging up on the wall. My mother's nickname for me was Bedelia, and I actually almost fell down the steps because I was just so shocked that I would see this, and the owner of the store saw me kind of holding on, clutching the handrail, and she said, what's wrong? And I said, that picture. Bedelia, that's my mother's nickname for me, and she took it off the wall and gave it to me. And I would like to think that my mother heard me and somehow put Bedelia in my path. And today we have Lisa. Lisa has seen me a couple of times, but
Yes.
more recently we connected on August 14th. And what did I tell you on August 14th?
You had told me that I was going to receive a medal from my late brother, and honestly, I doubted you a little.
I said it would be at the grave,
Yes, it would be at the grave, the miraculous medallion,
right? The miraculous
Blessed
medal.
Mother.
Right?
And I really did. I doubted you because he's not a religious person. It's something that wouldn't
Unusual.
happen. And then very next day,
August 15th.
August 15th, it was pouring. I went down to the grave. We have an angel, it's about that big, and there was this big bug like walking by. I picked up the angel, I went to smash the bug, and straight from the ground, the medal came up, and
Were you shocked?
I was beyond shocked.
And it's a medal, a medallion of the Blessed Mother.
It is. It took me about 15 minutes to wipe all the mud off, and when I realized what it was, I was trying to take the picture, and I laid it down. I got a picture of the front, flipped it over, and I tried to take a picture of the back. The 5th shot came out, but the first 4, the picture of the back came out as the front.
Okay.
So
Now, it looks like it's been a little
it-
corroded, so
yes.
it's probably been there a long time. I don't have the honor of knowing where your beautiful site is for your brother, and nor would I do anything like that. But I think the beauty of this is, and when you emailed me on Facebook with the medallion, I went out of my mind. You know that.
Yes.
I emailed you back, and I said to you, I met you on August 14th. Do you know what August 15th is? And you weren't sure. And I said, August 15th is the feast of the ascension of the Blessed Mother into heaven. And I said, you got a double message from your brother. First of all, he said you would get the medal. Secondly, you got it on her feast day of the Ascension.
Yep.
So to me, I knew what he was trying to tell me. And what did you think he was trying to communicate with you when you got that?
that he's with me and he's watching over me. And since then, I feel him around me so much more.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming up on 10 years now, and
Sorry for that.
it's just amazing.
Well, I'm
Amazing.
going to say too that I think when I met your wonderful group, I kind of knew that when I said that about the medallion, I could understand the hesitancy, because you were like, well, how? And I said, well, he'll get it to you. And I think I was the one that said to you, do you go to the grave every day? And you said, I do. It's the only way I get comfort. And you should.
Yeah.
If that's what you need to have comfort, you should do it. And that's when he said to me, tell her she'll find the medal. And you found it the next day. And I rejoiced. I rejoiced because I knew he was on the other side trying to tell you, listen, I'm here. I'm never going to leave you. Was your family happy?
Oh, thrilled. Thrilled, yeah. Everybody wanted to see it, and I keep it with me all the time now for luck.
And the other thing is, you know, that it wasn't random. It happened where his spot is. Not that
Right.
he's there, but it got your attention, and it shot out of the ground.
Yes.
And you must have been stunned because what he told you came true. And that's a prophecy. When they tell us something from the other side, whatever it may be, babies, marriages, aports, when it comes true, then you have to know that the spirit world has opened up that doorway to come back to you and say, guess what? I live on. I'm with you. I walk with you. I hear you. And you also said that your mother was especially touched because it was the Blessed Mother.
Yes. Yeah. I asked her to come, but she wouldn't come down today.
That's all right, you know, and I have to thank you and all the other wonderful people that come in to affirm what I do. It's much easier for you to come in and share what's happened to you, because then the listening audience, the people that are watching, they're being entertained, educated, enlightened, they look at you and they say, oh my gosh, it came true for her. That's got to be real. And so to me, and I have to thank the wonderful Saugus Community Television, they're giving us the vehicle to show that there is communication in the spirit world. It's always very positive, and it shows you that no matter what faith you have, hold on to that faith, because we will be reunited again in glory. And I know you were very close to each other.
Yes.
And I know that that loss had to be so profound, because he was fairly young. How old was your wonderful brother?
He is 24.
All right. So I'm going to say that he came through to me and through the spirit world, through God, to say to everybody, guess what, folks? I miss you, you miss me, but let me send you something to let you know that the soul is eternal. Were you happy about it?
I
Did it
was amazed. I was happy. I was shocked. I can't even describe it, because it's more of, it's not just a little message like, oh, I'm here. I'm here. I'm right here. It's
He-
almost like he put his hand out, and
and held on to you.
it's amazing.
Isn't it great? And I know that, you know, out of all the things I've been a participant of, when I got that, especially on the day of August 15th, I just was stunned myself, because he came through so loud and clear.
Oh, yeah.
And he lets you know that wherever you are in life, wherever you walk, wherever you go, that hand is holding on to you for always, like your own guardian
Yep.
angel. So I have to thank you. And again, you know, when people come in to show what happens, to give testimonial, that's called bearing witness. And it's in the Bible. If you look in the Old Testament, if you look in the New Testament, it will tell you that if the Spirit can come back to you and give you anything that you would know, or give you something you don't know and then it comes true, that is a direct channel to the great divine. So I'm just going to say, I think maybe now that's helped you have a little more of a foundation to
Oh,
know that
yes.
he's with you.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you,
No,
Lisa.
thank
That's
you.
great. Let me know what else comes true.
Oh,
Love
I
you. Thank
will.
you.
Thank
everyone.
you.
This is Linnea and Friends, and I'm happy to be able to share some of the wonderful experiences that have happened with me in the spirit world. And my message is always the same for everyone. The soul is eternal, and they're always trying to keep in touch with us to let us know that they're watching over us with light and love. And I do mention apports to people, A-P-P-O-R-T-S. An apport is when they tell you you're going to receive something from the other side, and then when it comes true, you know that you had a conversation with your loved one. Many of the guests that come on the show do bring the apport that they might have been told of, and if you look at my website, linneastar.com, you'll see many testimonials regarding people that have received something from the other side. And I would always ask everyone to have an open heart and an open mind, and to just be open to the fact that your loved ones on the other side are trying to connect with you, they're trying to communicate with you, and when the body is finished, when the body is no longer the vessel for our soul returns to the Creator. And I'm always encouraging people to hold on to your faith, have faith, because you are being watched over by the Creator as well as the loved ones on the other side. And I want to thank Saugus Community Television and all of their wonderful staff for working with me to help me get my message out, which is always the same. The soul is always eternal.
Oh.